Yogapreneurs, starting on Facebook here as well at the same time. Yogapreneurs, I wanted to come to you guys really quick because I got a really interesting post in my group today. My private group, the Yogapreneur Collective, we have a private Facebook group because that's the easiest place for us all to communicate. And in there we get to post any questions or ask for feedback or anything like that that we have going on. So one of the things that has come in amongst a bunch of people in the group has been that they're finding they're getting a lot of success in their business, and with that success comes fear, and it's a really interesting thing. So the comment is, what happens when the other shoe drops? Like, I'm doing better now, things are going where I want it to go. What is going to happen when the negativity comes? And so the suggestion, and I wanted to share this with the whole group for you guys as well, because I feel like the suggestion here should really be, what if the other shoe is even better? What if it's even better than what we thought? But there are 10 things that I wanted to share with you guys that I use and that I think are really important as any wellness business owner to help keep us focused and on track so that we are always staying a little bit more leaning towards the positive. So I've got my list here and I'll sort of just bang through them really quick. The first thing is persistence. The one major thing that definitely separates professionals from amateurs in any business is the ability to keep going even when the going gets tough, so to speak. And the other way to say persistent is that no doesn't mean never. So if you have a class that's underperforming right now, it doesn't mean that it won't perform in the future. Or if you have someone who, hey Sarah, if you have someone who is not saying yes to purchasing a certain package with you right now, it doesn't mean it means never. It doesn't mean you have no chance with those people ever. So definitely persistence is the big one. The next one would be micro goals and macro vision. So the first thing is, it's really important to have a vision of where you're going and what you're doing so that you have something that's guiding you on the way. And it's also something for you to lean onto, especially when the going gets tough. It gives you the larger, important perspective. But in the short term, that can seem too airy-fairy to really ground you. So, hey Alex. So one of the very important things that you can do is have micro goals. Make goals singular and definitely achievable, and something that are attached to a finite amount of time. So something that you're going to be able to access, or excuse me, able to accomplish relatively fast would be the way that I would look at that. So macro vision, yes, but micro goals. So you're always checking boxes and getting that sense of accomplishment for doing what you're, for accomplishing your tasks. Which ties perfectly into point number 3, which is do now. Right now is the only time that you have actual control over. So a lot of this worry, a lot of this fear is fear of the unknown. It's fear of like something that happened before, which you have no control over, or something that might happen, which you also have no control over. It's none of your business. So just focus on what you're doing right now and one thing at a time. So to really be good at focus in a business, don't look at all of the tasks you have to do. Pick one major task that you need to do and just do that single thing. That's what keeps your focus producing for you all the time. Now, what is that one hard thing? So the number 4 thing that we're talking about would be do one hard thing every day. Hey, Sarah. So, or hey, I think that was, oh, we got Marie on there too. Thanks for the thumbs up. So one of the things that you want to do is to do one hard thing every day. So the things that are easy, the things that you just do automated, we don't equate those in a sensational way that we're doing something very, very successful. So what I would suggest instead is that you pick one thing that you find difficult but you know you have to do in your business. Do that thing first every single day, because when you finish that, when you accomplish that, you have that sense of accomplishment, and it can really sort of get that enthusiasm fired up for you to continue doing other things. Hey Jessica. Now, when you do that hard thing, one of the things that this ties into as well is number 5, and that is to give. If you are giving value, if you are adding value to somebody's life, whether it's your staff, whether it's your family, whether it's, you know, the students that you have in your yoga studio, it gives you dividends. You get paid back for that. So give first. When we're worried about, you know, and we're scared about what's going to happen and what if the other shoe drops and this negativity, don't focus on that. Instead, change your focus to be towards, how can I give someone some value? How can I show them the value that I have to offer? Because when you do that, you will always have a positive outcome afterwards. So that's a huge one. Number 6 is clean a sink. The other way to say clean a sink is make your bed. If you're not sure where to start and you're starting to go down the negative spiral mentally, down the rabbit hole into what to not do, what to do, just do something. Pick something that you know you can do and you can do it really well, and then do it really well. So go clean the sink in your bathroom, scrub it, get it perfectly clean, everything pristine, everything crystal clear, just working top notch, because, hey Melissa, because that is the thing that can get you started motivationally to keep moving forward in that focused and in the now moment like we talked about earlier. Now, while you're doing all of this thing, yes, Sarah Girl says, you got it, my friend. So while you're doing that, one of the major things that you have to keep in perspective is to do things with humor. It doesn't mean to make things funny, but it's being willing to laugh and be humorous about the situation. Yoga studios are hilarious places if we look at them in a really dry sense. I was literally at a studio just a month ago, and we had just sold out their busiest class ever in the history of studio, in 8 years of operation or something. And we had done a Facebook Live, or excuse me, hey Maria, I'm talking about your studio actually. We had done an Instagram Live about how exciting it was to sell out this yoga class, and we had 60 people in there. It was so great. And then literally we turned off of the live, and a guy came up and said, hey, I'm really sorry, but I just puked in the bathroom. Do you have a mop? That happened right then in that moment. It was hilarious. And at that moment, we're gonna cry about it or be upset or think this is negative or I hate this business? Of course not. The only thing you can do is have humor and just laugh about the whole thing. So that's definitely something that you always want to be able to tap into. Which ties into the personal side of this as well. You need to be in a space where you are healthy at all times, mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically. So if you're a yoga studio, you got to do your yoga, man. Whatever that means to you right now, maybe you practice only twice a week because that's what's real, fine. But make sure you practice your yoga. Never deprioritize your own personal health so that you can try to work on the business, because it will bite you in the ass eventually. If it doesn't right away, it definitely will in the long run. Plus, you need to practice what you preach, and it keeps you connected to what you're really doing, which is your product line. That's your yoga practice. So keep your yoga up all the time. And the last two things that I think are really underestimated, and I don't see them talked about too often from a technique standpoint. One, include someone else. So if you're starting to look at what are the potential negative things that are happening, and how do I get around that, and how do I make sure that I stay positive in my business, include someone else. Get an employee that's working with you on a project, because then you now owe to them your end of the bargain. You have to hold up your end of the bargain, because you say, look, I want you to do this and I'm going to do this so that we can accomplish this. Then you have to do it because there's another person involved. This can be massively motivational for yourself. So just as much as you're getting them to help you, it's not just about delegating or passing it off. It's about bringing them in on the equation so you're both working towards a common goal, or a whole team of you that is towards a common goal could be as well. And the result of that is that then you have to live up to being that leadership role. That for me is hugely motivational and definitely helps me stay more positive and focused on what I'm actually doing in the business, so that I'm not looking at all of the potential negative ego stuff that pops up. And then the final thing is to find an aspirational identity. This is not the same thing as a goal. It's not the same thing as saying I want this many people on my auto pay. We had a studio recently, for the first time, they didn't think they'd make it, and they hit their 300 auto pay mark. And it was really exciting, but in the end, I think that they might have felt slightly anticlimactic, because it's cool to hit that, but they immediately think, oh, now I have to hold on to these people, and what about this, and what am I going to do next, and how do I move forward from here? And we start to get concerned about the future instead of feeling the moment. Holy shit, I just hit 300 auto pays. That's incredible in the business, especially a single operation mom and pop shop. I mean, you have to feel that. So the aspirational identity isn't tied to the actual numbers in the business. It's tied to what is the highest image of yourself. Who are you if you are the perfection of you right now? It doesn't matter if you're actually that person or not. What matters is you have a clear image of what that person is and what it represents and how you act and how you behave and how you do things, so that you can keep moving towards it. Only you know this. Hey, Christy. Only you know this. Only you actually know what that looks like. So no one else is going to hold you accountable for this either. So if you aren't accomplishing your aspirational identity, there's no risk for you. There's nothing negative that can happen. But knowing what that is allows you to ask yourself the very honest question. And one of the techniques of being a really good yoga business owner is being able to self-audit. And it lets you ask, is this in the highest image of myself? Is me sitting here dwelling on this, focusing this way and not accomplishing something the highest image of myself? No. What do I need to do right now? I'm gonna go clean the sink, and I'm gonna do the one hard thing, and I'm gonna stay focused on what's going on. What do you guys do to stay focused in your business? How do you stay positive even when we're talking about just in general, the negative ego taking over, the monkey mind taking over? But what do you do when something actually bad happens and it's easy to start going down the negative rabbit hole? What's the technique that works for you? Post it down below. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Peace.